Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of Unsung Heroes, the untold stories of this great international association of service clubs. I'm your host, Leo Lion Otis Chitness, and today we'll be addressing a topic that I'm sure many of us are wondering about. What do Lions stand for? Of course, across the globe, we stand for the principles of good citizenship, good government, and service. But that's not the philosophical question that we'll be addressing today. Instead, I'll be focusing on what do Lions literally stand for? How did we get our name, and how do we embody this today? In 1913, a very young doctor, W.P. Woods from Evansville, Indiana, wanted to start a civics organization to promote good citizenship in his local community. He was a very successful physician and had contacts within the whole community and across the state of Indiana. So he decided to go down to his local church and speak with his priest about how he could make this organization the best that it could be. His priest told him that he should look to the book of Gabriel, a book within the Bible which discusses the power of the lion over life and death, over wisdom and insanity, and he told him that his members needed to be principled like the lions in the book of Gabriel, so he should call his organization the Lions. Eventually, this organization, started by W.P. Woods in 1913, would become a participant at the June 7, 1917 meeting that we discussed the other day, where our international association was formally founded. Fortunately enough for all of us, they decided to keep the name Lions from W.P. Woods' organization, and it's stuck with us ever since. In 1919, a judge and attorney from Denver, Colorado, gave new meaning to that name, which has been ingrained in our Constitution and bylaws ever since. Halsted L. Ritter, the vice president of the Denver Lions Clubs, one of our association's strongest clubs, stood before the convention. Mind you, he was a very young judge, very young attorney, in front of a very diverse panel of professionals from all across the United States. Of course, he was very nervous, but he was able to get out a very eloquent speech, and at the end of it, he proposed that our Lion's name stand for something very special to him, that Lions should stand for liberty, intelligence, and our nation's safety. Liberty, of course, first, because that's what Lions were doing for so long, promoting the principles of democracy, good citizenship, and good civics, which W.P. Woods has focused on, and we've all focused on for the past 104 years. Intelligence, because he believed in the power of intelligence to make change in his community. You have to remember at this time, education was still quite poor, not just in the United States, but across the world. And he wanted to focus on taking these community challenges on in a very intelligent way so that Lions could eventually become this great service organization with 50,000 clubs across the world that we have become today. Our nation's safety, that one is quite puzzling. Even back then, our association was called the International Association of Lions Clubs. So why did he say our nation's safety? We have to understand that at this time, there was great political turmoil across the globe. The entire world map had shifted because of the First World War and all of the suffering caused by it. In the United States, in all the communities where Lions came from, there was great suffering, hunger, and many diseases prevalent within the community that Lions were sent to tackle. But another thing was the security of the nation, which had been tested throughout the First World War. In order for a nation to be prosperous, in order for communities to succeed, one must build up their own nation to be a successful power in the world. The United States had emerged from the First World War in a very strong place, but the Lions wanted to ensure that other nations could also be built up as shining beacons of democracy across the world. And that's what Lions have been able to do for 104 years, spreading first to Canada and Mexico, through South America, into free Europe and Asia, and since the 1990s, we've been able to spread democracy into countries that haven't even experienced it before, the former Soviet Union, in Africa, and in the developing world. And I think that last thing, something that we don't focus on too much, is very special that we can take from Halsted Ritter. Halsted Ritter eventually became the United States District Judge for the Southern District of Florida, a very important judicial district here in the United States. He was appointed unanimously by the Senate, a very distinct honor. After his service as a federal judge ended in 1936, Halsted Ritter became a community leader and an author, writing a number of books concerning the way that government worked and the way that government could benefit citizens. At the end of his life, Halsted Ritter decided to go back to community work, where it all started for him when he joined the Denver Lions Club. He continued to be active within the community and truly is an inspiration for all of us. This October Growth Month, I think it's all important for us to remind ourselves who we are as Lions. While we may in the past have stood for liberty, intelligence, and our nation's safety, it's up to each and every one of us, the 1.4 million Lions and 200,000 Leos across the world, to define what makes a Lion for each and every one of our communities, because that's how we're going to ensure the growth of our association and the security, nay, I say the safety, of our nations and our communities.